Testing.
This is actually what
Ah.
it was.
Hello.
Okay. It's sharing. It's sharing.
Hello. Hello.
No, that's
Hello.
on them.
Hello.
This is
Hello?
not us.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello?
I have to.
Is good?
Make sure it's here. As long as this should be fine. Yeah, there's a lot of drop frames. I'm gonna reduce this to mute.
I don't know.
Speak 10 minutes. Put it like right
Two.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Like do like a regular speaker voice.
Hello. My name is Taman. I'm from the University of Toronto, Scarborough. Good. Okay.
Huh?
I don't recognize this.
No. But I have to update Zoom because I didn't try it, so I'm updating it right now, or else it won't let me.
Because there's a problem with Zoom,
Can I
which
turn-
I encountered before by recording.
Can I turn
on
both of them
OBS,
off
where
at
something
the
does not
beginning
show
and
the
then
screen.
turn it
Yeah.
on? Okay. So I'm gonna turn both of them off.
Sure that will have it working.
Yeah.
Steve's not.
Yeah, I'm. Give me one sec. We just stop here.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
What's up, leads?
What's up?
How's everyone doing?
You want me to turn the volume up?
Yeah, it's max.
It's already max.
Yeah.
You can use the small one.
It's not good because you are.
It's already at max.
Small one.
No, this is the max.
Does
we
anyone have a loud voice?
Hello, everyone.
Okay, I think that's good. All good to go? Okay, let's just start. Once people get louder. Okay, let's just get going. It's gonna be a few seconds behind. It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, wanna kick things off?
Sure.
It begins.
How's everyone doing? That wasn't loud, was it? How's everyone doing? Welcome to GenAI Genesis, Canada's largest AI hackathon. We are excited to have you all joining us from all across Canada and some folks from outside Canada in this weekend at U of T My Hall. A shout out to our sponsors, Google and PwC, and our partners, United Nations and 1 Degree Cooler. I'm Adib, and I'm the co-chair for this hackathon. We also have...
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm also one of the co-chairs of the hackathon.
And I am Alankrit. I am also one of the co-chairs for the hackathon.
So just before we want to get started, we wanted to do a brief land acknowledgement. So we wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. So a number of tech and AI events oftentimes kind of seem to overlook the impacts that this technology has on indigenous populations. So just to make sure that we're just not saying a land acknowledgement, we want to give you something to actually take away and learn a bit more about this space. So one kind of resource that we highly recommend is the CFAR Indigenous Perspectives in AI program. If any of you have the time, I highly recommend scanning on the QR code and checking out their stuff.
Our story begins very long ago, in 2024, when we decided to make an AI hackathon to bring the best talent in the AI community, not just in Toronto, but all across this country together to build passion projects using AI, to build things that you care about, to solve problems that you face daily, and even create solutions for real-world challenges that we all want to solve at some point. In 2024, we just had 300 people joining us. It was at Bayhan Center, which is a very beautiful and lightful building. And we decided to double everything this year. Well, we actually more than doubled it. We had 2,200 applicants from 25 countries, more than 100 universities, and 5 continents applying to join GenAI Genesis. We are honored to welcome about 700 of you, about 550 in person and 150 online, to build projects this weekend, all powered by AI and, of course, generative AI, to solve challenges, to make an impact, to have some fun, to learn about cool things out there. There are many things that this experience operates. You're going to be networking, you're going to be learning. Some of you are going to be winning prizes. We have over $15,000 worth of prizes here. And a lot of you are going to take on home some lessons, maybe a great connection you made. Maybe something you learned about building some Next.js app, or even some of the friends you made along the way. Nevertheless, this is your chance to build something cool, to have some fun, and eat some good food. We are proud to have been organized by the major A huge shout out to all our sponsors and partners, from United Nations to Google to PwC, Google Cloud, Cohere, AMD, 1 Degree Cooler, Vector. Have good food in the hackathon. So please show your admiration with a clap. And of course, a special thanks to our core partners, the United Nations and 1 Degree Cooler. Before we go deeper into the logistics of the hackathon, I want to welcome Vic Pont, the Chief Data Scientist of PwC, for a brief keynote. And then, oh, I didn't hear your claps, guys.
And also, I think somebody had a clicker. Okay, this one. Okay, here. And do I need to share my screen on Zoom? Yeah, you need to go to Zoom. Okay. So I already have Zoom going, I think. Yeah, you need to I was already connected to Zoom. Yeah. Can you check? Is it not on? It's there. It's there. Oh, it is there. ask me details if you want to dive deeper into any of these topics, okay? So when we work with our clients, what's the one of them with when it comes to putting generative proof of concepts, pilots, and prototypes into production, right? Nowadays, you can have a credit card, you can access an API endpoint, you can use Chainlit, Streamlit, Gradio, Flask, pick your favorite UI paradigm and build a very nice demo. But that doesn't mean that it's enterprise grade, industrial strength, mission critical, or production class. So that's what organizations truly want, right? So one of the biggest challenges that organizations face is testing, because these systems are stochastic, they're probabilistic, right? They're not deterministic. And if you're a bank, if you're an insurance company, if you're a healthcare company, if you're an organization in a regulated space, or just about any company or organization that wants to use these types of models, you have to test, right? That kind of constant vigilance is the price for peace of mind that you have, that things won't go completely off the rails when you start to use these systems in the wild. The other thing is tuning. Remember, in traditional machine learning, in classical data science, what you have is you have your data set, you have all control over the algorithms that you use to induce models from those data sets. So, you can do all types of calibration, optimization, tuning of the models throughout the model development process. But here, you're actually working with other organizations' models. Anthropic, OpenAI, Cohere, Meta, all of these companies, right? So you're getting these pre-trained models. You want to be able to fine-tune them so that, for various reasons, that they can adapt to the domain that you're using them in, your organizational domain, your industrial domain, your regional domains, and things like that. So these are two things that organizations really have to focus on when they go from a nice demo to something that is truly scalable and is going to create value in a sustainable way. Now, why is this important? I've already mentioned that tuning and training are very important priorities, but to do this in the world of large language models, what do you need? You need a lot of human-labeled data, right? So if I'm a bank or if I'm a telecommunications company and I'm about to put a chatbot out in the public internet for my clients to come and ask questions and solve problems, I need to make sure that I have enough human-labeled examples of prompts and completions. How do I open an account? How do I check my bill? How do I pay my bill? You don't want the large language model to be hallucinating or confabulating or using language that is inappropriate or not in line with your brand ethos. So for those types of things, you go into your enterprise, you talk to subject matter experts, you talk to domain knowledge holders, they give you lots and lots of good reference, gold standard prompts and completions, and then you fine-tune the model or you customize the embeddings, and there's all kinds of things you can do, but you get the model's behavior to adapt to what you need it to do, right? So you need that. That's important, but at the same time, getting human-labeled data set is very, very hard. Why is that? Because first of all, the very people who are the authorities in your organization who can give you gold standard prompts and completions, guess what? They have day jobs, right? They have day jobs that they have to do. So coming up with prompt completion pairs isn't exactly their top priority. And even if they can give you some, it's sort of like a never-ending process, right? Because you can always go back and get more prompts and completions for you can get more completions for the same prompt, or you can get different prompts for different types of use cases you're supporting or different scenarios. So all of that to say, testing and tuning of large language models and agentic systems powered by large language models is a big organizational priority. What we need for that is human-labeled data, but human-labeled data is tough to come by, okay? So for anybody who's thinking about doing startups, this is a very, very nice area for you to consider building a startup in if you're interested, because this is a need that almost 99, in fact, 100% of my clients have, and this is a lot of the types of problems that we solve. Okay, so given that these are the challenges, is everything kind of lost? Can we not make progress? Is the only choice that we have is to have humans just not do their day job and keep making labeled data sets? No. Actually, what's happening is that in the research community of late, there's been a lot of research done on the concept of augmentation of human-labeled data sets, right? Coming up with synthetic data sets to augment the few samples of good golden standard prompt completion pairs and other types of data sets that you have. So one technique is called negative reinforcement through counterfactual examples. I'll give you a very good kind of, or not good, you'd be the judge of that, but I'll give you a bit of a deep dive into what that looks like and how it works. There's another technique called contrastive learning with controlled perturbations of prompts and completions. This was going to be the second part of my talk, but I had to hide those slides. I can show them to you on the table outside where I'm going to have my laptop. And then there's lots and lots of other techniques we don't have time to cover, but suffice it to say, there's a very ripe area for startups and very ripe area for ventures to enter into this space. All right, before we go into any of those techniques and what organizations are doing in the real world, I want to just establish a bit of a baseline so we're all on the same page, because I know in this audience, different people have different backgrounds and different familiarity with the science behind large language models, okay? So before we can say something is better or worse, when we talk about tuning, what are we talking about? Making something better, right? What do we say when we say testing? We're measuring something. So before we say something is better or worse, we have to have some benchmarks, some ways of measuring that we all agree on, okay? So one of the most famous measures of large language models, there's even a company named after it. It's called Perplexity, okay? And Perplexity generally is a good measure of the consistency and the coherence in a text that is outputted by a large language model, right? Technically, you basically compute perplexity by taking you exponentiate the negative average of the log likelihood of the conditional probabilities of tokens given a sequence of tokens. Okay, that's a technical definition, but basically it's a metric that most large language models give you access to, so you can track them as you're tuning and testing them. Another one, sort of like a cousin of perplexity, is called token entropy. So perplexity typically is calculated over the entire chunk of text. Token entropy you can calculate on a per token basis. You can then sum it or average it using some techniques and still get it for the entire chunk of text, but you basically calculate this by summing the products of the logs of the probabilities of the tokens, and then also by the actual probabilities themselves. And this is actually a good measure of the diversity and the variety in a text. You don't want something to be correct, but then always be using the same repetitive language over and over again. So this is also a good metric that organizations use to judge the outputs of their large language models. And the last one is what's called self-consistency score. What this is, that given the same prompt multiple times, how often is the model producing semantically similar outputs, okay? So, I mean, there's many, many more, and depending on the business need and depending on the technical readiness, different organizations prefer to pick different ensembles of metrics. But for most of my clients, I typically find that one or more of these, or all three of them in some combination, permutation, are the ones that they use to measure LLMs, and certainly use to compare LLMs when it comes to tuning and testing. So that's one thing, that's metrics. Another thing is that anybody who's worked with LLMs knows that how you interact with LLMs, even just to use them, let alone to tune them or test them, is two main ways. One is through prompting. So you have access at the interface level. So you have APIs. APIs can be thought of as, you know, the ways that you connect to an LLM with. And so this is where, for example, if you wanted to tune an LLM, you didn't have access to the internal machinery or the componentry of a model, the best you can do is use some of these techniques. You can inject examples or human-labeled data sets or synthetically generated data sets directly with the prompt. You can give good examples. Or you can do what are called multi-turn prompting, where you give the model a prompt, it gives you a generation, a completion, and then after that you can say, no, that doesn't look good, this is what the answer should look like. Or no, that doesn't look good, but this looks even worse, right? Those types of examples you can give it. So there's some of those strategies, but there's also other techniques. Some other things you can do is, if you do happen to have models that support fine-tuning, and I'll show you a list of those, you can actually go in and you can calibrate, or you can change or update or adjust, whatever you want, the models themselves. So these are two main ways in which, whether you have human-labeled gold standard data or you have some synthetically generated data to complement that, those are the two main ways in which organizations try to get more juice from the squeeze when it comes from better behaving, better tuned models for their purposes, okay? Now, if you see here, that's a list of like some of the most commonly used models in the industry, and I haven't put names of companies, but I'm sure, you know, you can look at those and you'll figure out who makes what models, and they basically support lots and lots of different fine-tuning techniques. The first three of them are called parameter-efficient fine-tuning techniques, where you don't have to completely tune the model from front to back, left to right, top to bottom, but if that's what you had to do, that's also supported in many of the models. And whether you're a Microsoft Azure organization that is using large language models hosted on Microsoft Azure, you can see that they support lots and lots of fine-tuning modalities on different models, OpenAI and otherwise, and the models also give you things like log probs, which is an important output from the model, metadata you need to calculate some of the metrics I was describing before, like token entropy, like perplexity, things like that. Google Cloud also supports it. So if you're an organization, many organizations in different industries use Google Cloud for generative AI. So Vertex AI also supports fine-tuning, and they also give you log probabilities of output tokens, and that's the beginning to how you compute some of the metrics I talked about. And last but not the least, Amazon Web Services also supports it. So all of that to say, these are the three main providers, not the only three main providers, but that most major Canadian organizations run their large language models on, and all three of them support the types of machinery and componentry that I'm describing to you, so that you know that that's how they're doing the kind of stuff for tuning and testing these models. Okay? So let's talk about the first technique. Today I was going to talk about two, but I'll talk about one in the interest of time, and then like I said, feel free to come to us at the PwC table, and I'm happy to dive deep into any of these things. So first one, negative reinforcement with counterfactual examples. I'm sure many of you have used any pick your favorite generative model. You give it a prompt, and right in the prompt you say, I want my answer to look like this, and you give it a bunch of examples, right? So that's like few shot or one-shot learning or something like that, where directly you're giving it some example data, and now that's already guiding the model's behavior. But those are good examples, okay? Those are positive reinforcement by giving them good examples that it can emulate. Now, as I've told you before, when you're in a large organizational setting, and that's a bit of a not possibility situation because you don't have lots and lots of good examples, we're going to take a bit of an innovative approach to coming up with some examples. So the idea of negative reinforcement is you take the far few gold standard good prompts and completions you have, and then you use an auxiliary large language model to generate intentionally bad completions, right? So of course, there's a scaling limit on humans being available to give you lots and lots and lots of good prompts and completions, but there is no limit on, basically, on a large language model intentionally creating mistakes, right? That large language models can do very, very easily. You can turn up the temperature, you can give it some types of intentional prompts, and it can give you very, very quickly lots and lots and lots of bad examples. That's why we call it negative reinforcement, where we construct a synthetic data set based on good gold standard prompts and completions, or any kind of reference text that your model should be using, and then we use the LLM to intentionally create bad examples. And when it does that, then we feed them into the model either through the API or by adjusting the model internally through fine-tuning, as I was describing, to do what's called error boundary learning, where the model learns on the bad examples what not to do, even though it's got far fewer examples of your gold standard prompts and completions of what to do. So it becomes a complementary signal for the model to go away from something as opposed to always be going towards something, okay? And like I told you before, this is like far more scalable than going to your best friend who's a domain knowledge holder or a subject matter specialist, and then you can really generate a synthetic negative data set very, very quickly, okay? So you can do that. So I'll give you an example from a bank that I've been doing some work with. I've obviously anonymized the bank and de-identified everything. But this is an example of a prompt, okay? Very common prompt in banks when they build chatbots or FAQ type virtual assistants. This one says, what documents do I need to open a new checking account in your bank? This is the official answer. This is the proper, approved, authorized, permitted answer. We don't have to read the whole thing. But then what we do is we use an LLM to intentionally create wrong answers based on that one right answer. And if you see up here in the answers, the first one introduces artificially is a new requirement, which was not in the original requirement, right? This one says you need a second proof of address or second proof of ID. Well, that's not in the official policy of the bank, but the LLM inserted that, and so that's a mistake in the first one. All the way to the last one, which is completely wrong, and it's gone far away from the original completion. It's saying no traditional documents are needed. All you need is a smartphone and a selfie. Okay, if your bank needs a smartphone and a selfie only to open an account, they may get a knock on their door from the anti-money laundering police or the know your customer police. Okay, so the idea is that these are all synthetically generated, counterfactual, intentionally wrong completions, but they're not equally wrong. The first one is still more semantically proximal. It's a little bit wrong, and the last one is far more semantically distal. It's the farthest out. And so it's not just that they're wrong that's important, it's how wrong they are. And when you pass that as metadata to your model, either through the API or the interface, it reinforces the signal that the model takes away for that error boundary learning, okay? Another good example of another prompt from that bank I work with is, how do I dispute a charge on my account? This is the right answer. And then there's a whole bunch of wrong answers, but again, the same story. The last one is saying, email me with your bank account number, with your PIN, and your login and your password, right? Totally wrong, should not be happening. But again, it's a good example of a bad example, okay? So when you have all of this information, what we did in my team, we built a tool, and we use this tool when we go to clients to help them with these types of situations. We took this machinery, we plugged it in, and then we actually fine-tuned through the internal mode that I talked about, and then we also prompted the model using the interface mode, and then we have some results to show you, okay? So we took the model, this one was a GPT-4o mini, I believe, or if I'm not mistaken, it's right behind the actual Zoom thing, and then we actually used a different LLM, in this case happens to be O1, to generate the counterfactual examples, meaning the wrong examples. And the reason we use the reasoning engine to generate counterfactuals is because it has that reasoning capability, that chain of thought, it is much better at giving us those different varieties or different intensity of wrongness, and it can justify that. Although you can use any LLM you want to basically create bad examples, okay? So this is like a very popularly used LLM. We all know GPT-4 and GPT-4o are used, or GPT-4 mini are used everywhere. So we use that. We use Azure, but if you have other models on other hyperscalers like I showed you, there's no stopping. So here you go. So for the first prompt I showed you, which is what documents do I need to open a new checking account, on the axis down below, the horizontal axis, you have 0 to 100. That's the number of counterfactual examples. And on the y-axis, on the vertical axis, you have the 3 different metrics I talked about, the perplexity, the token entropy, and then the self-consistency. And I should have said this when I was talking about metrics. Perplexity and token entropy, you want them to be lower, okay? Lower is better, unless you like hallucinations and confabulations. In that case, you want them to be higher, but banks are generally not very fond of those types of things. So lower is better, and then with self-consistency, as the name suggests, you want it to be higher. So already you can see that very, very rapidly, when you actually have access to the internal weights and biases that you can fine-tune, you get a lot more juice from the squeeze per sample of counterfactual example, okay? So you see right away, the perplexity starts to drop, the token entropy starts to drop, and then on the self-consistency, it just shoots up. It's like super linear a little bit in the very beginning if you look at the whole plot of self-consistency, but then but even so, even if all you had access to was at the interface level, and all you could do was to give the bad examples to the large language model through prompts, it still gives you performance quality improvements, okay? So without you having to go and talk to people who hold all the knowledge and are subject matter experts and domain knowledge holders, you can complement whatever little you do have by way of gold standard prompts, which are human generated, complement them with these types of counterfactual examples, and drive that negative reinforcement pipeline through your model to help meet the model checking, model validation people's requirements for testing and tuning. If you look at the second prompt example I showed you, how do I dispute a charge on my account? Same story. Very, very quickly, if you have internal access and you can actually fine-tune the model, it shows you far greater performance improvements compared to if you only have access at the interface level. Of course, you could ask me, Vic, what happens if we do both? Absolutely. You know, in machine learning, one of the most important theorems is no free lunch, where you have to test and you have to explore and you have to experiment different permutations, different combinations of techniques, and that's what I would say. So absolutely, if you had ability to fine-tune a model and then also prompt it in creative ways, yes, you might actually see, and we've done some experiments on that as well, you see a lot of performance improvement by this way, right? So as I go back to the original problem I had with a lot of these clients face, is like they simply don't have enough human-labeled gold standard data to test and tune their models, oftentimes to the satisfaction of the people that control the green light or red light to put systems in production or not. This can help a lot of organizational decision makers to overcome that hurdle. So very quick summary. First is human-labeled data set can be augmented with synthetic data. We've done studies, and now we're not the only ones. Lots of other researchers have done studies like this too. So it really does have value. And so if you're building a software startup around machinery and componentry that enables that in a useful and usable way, you can really get into a market, not just directly, but also through organizations like ours who are also looking to bring ventures into our corporate clients to find that win-win-win situation. Number two is, just like teaching a model what to do is great, absolutely, if you can get a lot of human-labeled gold standard data, amazing. But if you can't, telling the model what not to do can also be very, very helpful, okay? And then helping a model to understand nuances and subtleties is also important. It's not just about giving it bad examples. If you tell it the degree of badness, that can actually give you better sample efficiency and numerical stability as you update your model and you fine-tune it. And then, like I said before, techniques should be thought of in an and both, not either or. Of course, if you don't have internal access, then the only option you have is the interface access. But if you have internal access, you always have interface access too, and so you can put 2 and 2 together and really take the game to the next level. And like I said, no free lunch theorems can guide our search for better quality of model outputs. This is like the ultimate job guarantee for a data scientist, and the ultimate product market fit for a startup founder is that if you build a tool like this that helps clients to explore and experiment and apply these innovative techniques to their business problems, they can drive meaningful value realization on a sustainable, scalable manner. With that, I talked as fast as I could. Thank you very much. I appreciate you listening to my talk. Thank you. Thank you. Good.
We want to thank Vic, so let's thank him together. Repeat after me. Thank you, Vic, for the amazing keynote and sponsoring food tonight.
I'm gonna film you in the audience. So stand this way.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Right in the middle. Yeah, ready?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mike, yes. Yes, I will. Is that ready? Yeah.
Clear the stage, yes.
Okay, now go ahead.
Hello, yes. Can I have everybody's attention, please? Yeah, hello. Thank you. One quick thing, I request everybody to stay silent and listen to the talks of the wonderful presenters that we have here tonight. Really important. So when somebody is presenting here, please maintain the decorum of this hall. Thank you. Now, back to the hackathon stuff. So, the hackathon theme for this year, 2025, is... Any guesses, anybody? Any guesses? Yes? It's something to do with AI, obviously, yes. Yeah? Brains, okay, interesting. What's up what's there? Yes? Okay. Not that. Yeah? AI agents, that's a nice one. Okay, so the hackathon theme for this year is AI for human empowerment. Okay, everybody here will have enough time to discuss their projects. Let's focus on the orientation of the presentations right now. Yes. So, on top of the main theme for the hackathon, we have a lot of prize categories. More than 15 actually. So, we have Google's best AI best healthcare AI hack, PwC's best finance AI hack, best use of Cohere hack, and a lot of sponsored prize categories on the screen right now. In addition to this, you also have a lot of non-sponsored prize categories for the hackathon, which includes best AI safety and responsible AI hack, best AI powered tool for hackathon by Hack Canada, best AI creativity and generative arts hack, and many more. Yes. In addition to that, as you saw, we have Cohere as a sponsor. We are providing you all with API credits for Cohere. More details about this are there on the Hackathon Hacker package, which is with you all. I hope so. But you can take a screenshot or a picture of this. The code to access those API credits is don't_drain. Yes. Yeah, everybody took a picture of that? Yeah. Okay. Now, I would like to invite Lucas Ellen, the founder of 1 Degree Cooler, to share his thoughts. Can we have a huge round of applause for Lucas?
Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to be standing here tonight, surrounded by so many brilliant minds, whether you're coders, problem solvers, or dreamers who are ready to use AI to tackle some of the world's biggest challenges. I actually saw in Discord before this, somebody apparently hacked the registration to let themselves in, which I think is absolutely cool. You over there? Wow, okay. That is absolutely amazing. That's definitely in the spirit of the hackathon. I think you definitely deserve to be accepted for that. But yeah, this hackathon covers a wide range of categories, and it's what makes this event so exciting. AI isn't just one thing. It's a tool that can be applied to every field, every challenge, and every opportunity. And I hope that this weekend gives you the chance to explore just how far your ideas can go. At 1 Degree Cooler, our focus is climate and sustainability through innovation and action. At our core, we believe that climate change is not just about protests or policy rooms. It also belongs in AI, in hackathons, and in tech startups. And we believe in the power of youth to lead that charge. Let me share with you one of my favorite stories. There's a startup called Blue Sky Analytics that began as a hackathon project, just like the ones you'll be building this weekend. They won a prize at the hackathon, and around 2 years later, they got $1.2 million in seed funding. Today, using AI and satellite data, they can pinpoint emissions from companies, monitor sea level temperatures, track air quality, and much more. Another inspiring story comes from the Ocean Cleanup, which is a nonprofit dedicated to stopping the trash flow from rivers and removing legacy plastics from the oceans. A key part of their work requires AI to create detailed maps of plastic density and plastic accumulation. By using AI, they were able to enhance their efforts and remove over 11.5 million kilograms of trash from oceans and rivers in 2024 alone. Also, buildings account for nearly 40% of global energy consumption, and AI is helping us optimize that in real time. For example, Google used AI to reduce the energy needed to cool its data centers by 40%. Imagine applying that same technology to homes, schools, and cities worldwide. Whether it's mapping the growth of forests, modeling the melting of icebergs, or predicting natural disasters, AI has applications in many areas, including climate change. And the tech space is growing fast. In April of last year, Jeff Bezos' Earth Fund launched a multi-year, $100 million AI for Climate and Nature Grand Challenge. Now that's a lot of money. And moreover, 9 Canadian families and foundations pledged $405 million over the next decade to fund climate-related projects and Canada's transition to a low-carbon economy. So this space is growing very fast, and there have been a lot of investments very recently. The world is watching the space, and they're ready to invest in these real solutions. Solutions that may come from people like you at hackathons like this. So, after 36 hours of coding, I hope this isn't where your journey ends, but where it begins. Just like 1 Degree Cooler started from a speech I gave at the United Nations COP28, your project this weekend could be the first step towards something much bigger. What you build here has the potential to grow, to evolve, and to create real impact far beyond this hackathon. 1 Degree Cooler now partners with many amazing organizations like the United Nations Association in Canada, the Climate Action Accelerator Program, and the Dartmouth Climate Alliance. Together, we're building a network where students and young innovators can take action, find support, and scale their ideas beyond events like this. If you want to explore AI collaborations, please come to the 1 Degree Cooler booth anytime throughout the hackathon. We'd love to talk to you. Now, I'd love to go on, but I don't want to be the one standing between you and dinner, so I guess I'll wrap it up here. Thank you again for being here. Good luck, have fun, and I can't wait to see what you build this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucas, for the wonderful thoughts. I'll request you to be here for a quick photograph, actually. Yes, perfect.
Wait, give me 5 seconds. Don't forget, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Look up. Okay, we're good. I'm thinking one. That's fine.
Thank you so much, Lucas, for that wonderful talk. I just have to make a quick announcement. So, food is getting ready. We do have food for iftar. There is also a poll on the Discord announcements right now. If you guys can all do the poll, fill in the details, that would be great. And we will now continue with the presentations.
Cool. So now that that's all out of the way, I'm going to kind of blitz through the different operational and logistical kind of components of the hackathon. So for any of you who haven't seen already, the Hacker Package, also accessible in the Discord, contains essentially everything you'll need for the hackathon in its entirety all through weeks. It'll be updated throughout, so highly encourage you if you have any questions. First place to check is the Hacker Package. Next thing, communications. So main communications between everyone, all execs, peer-to-peers, will be occurring on the Discord. So within the Discord itself, it is a bit long, but if you look along the left-hand side, for those of you who are a bit unfamiliar, there's different channels categorized by different categories. So if you need certain guides or want to hear certain announcements, check out the announcements channel. If you want to look at different general discussions or have any questions for different other hackers and logistical components, please put those inquiries within general and discussion. If you want to contact any mentors, just check out the different mentor channels there. There's going to be different mentors handling online and virtual inquiries and questions. And also, if you do want to get a catch of a mentor in person, they'll be walking around. You can shoot them a message within those channels. So now I'm going to go through a brief kind of walkthrough of the agenda for the 3 days. So this is today. As you can see, we're kind of going through the opening ceremony, and dinner and hacking will begin shortly. Day 2 is kind of when things are kind of properly more kicking off with the different workshops from the different company representatives and organizations that are partnering with GenAI Genesis. So the first event that I kind of want to put attention to is the AMD workshop. So if any of you are interested in computers, AMD, gaming, any of that kind of stuff, highly recommend you check out the AMD workshop that's happening tomorrow morning. Second event is the Women in AI panel. So we're having a bunch of different professionals from Deloitte, from Zadams, all these different large-scale organizations, consulting firms, all focused within tech. So feel free to shop by the Women in AI panel at that point in time. Second, how many of you here are interested in interning at Google? Okay, so we have the perfect workshop for you. We have how to get into Google, essentially, workshop by someone who works in Google. So if any of you want to, put on your suits, bring your resume, all that kind of stuff, and learn how to get into one of the top tech firms on the planet, be sure to check out the Google keynote on day 2. Other thing is there'll also be a second Google AI workshop, and then there's also going to be an Edge AI workshop. So if any of you are interested in Edge AI, a SciCraft workshop that's going to be focused on tech applications and more kind of like socially salient issues within the world. So highly recommend checking out SciCraft. And then at the end of every different workshop that we're doing to kind of encourage you all to attend the different workshops, we'll be running a raffle system. So how the raffle system will work is essentially after each workshop, you'll be kind of handed a mini sticker. And with that sticker, you're able to attach it to something. And then basically at the end of the hackathon itself, you'll be able to kind of submit all the different stickers that you've accrued through attending the different workshops, and then be able to submit that in for consideration for raffles. So the more kind of workshops you co-do, the more stickers you attend, you get, and then the higher chance that you're gonna win our raffle prize. Okay, so day 3 is essentially more focused on judging. So all your applications, all your projects will have to be in by 9 a.m. So yeah, Saturday's probably gonna be a long night. So once that's in, it's in, no changes can be made. And then judging starts between 10 to 3 p.m. Shortly after judging stops, we'll have our main networking for the event. So if you saw all our different partners, organizers, sponsors for the event, a lot of them are going to be present at that time, so we highly recommend you check out that brief time period between 1 and 3 p.m. And following that, some of the winners of different awards will be giving a brief kind of presentation to show off the cool work that they created at the hackathon. And then we're going to be releasing the final awards for GenAI Genesis. So a few more logistical items. So I know a number of you have already formed a couple teams, but we do ask that teams have to be within the sizings of 2 and 4. You can kind of declare which team you are on DevPost. I know a lot of you have been added to DevPost already. And the other thing is for everyone hacking in person, you must be hacking with other in-person hackers. Same thing for virtual. If you're hacking virtually, you must be hacking with other virtual hackers. Room assignment. So we have a number of different rooms that are available to you. So main room that we kind of recommend is My Hall 150. You have tables, you have a large open space. This is the generally recommended room for hacking. But if you want to hack somewhere outside of here, we have booked off My Hall 440, My Hall 360 as well. In one of the rooms as well, tomorrow we'll be announcing, we also have AMD computers. So if any of you are interested in training any more traditional ML models, we have a compute platform that is set up. More information about that will be added to the hacker package shortly. And yeah, you'll be able to try out AMD computers. And then judging will be happening on 5th and 6th and 7th floor. And then the different workshops that will be occurring will be happening on My Hall 580. So that's on the 5th floor. Yep, as I mentioned previously, if you want to reach out to mentors, the first space that you want to check out is Discord, because that's where all the different mentors will be seeing the communications, so you can hop on there. Marketing, if any of you are interested in following along with the event and any of the things that we're doing, you can follow us on our different socials, such as LinkedIn and Instagram.
Who follows us on Instagram? I didn't see your hands, guys. So you can scan that QR code and start following us right now. I'll be doing a count. So right now, our Instagram has not reached 1K. So let's make it 1K with the help of you guys. So I've started the head count. Right now we have, wow, you guys already passed us. We already have 1,000 followers. Yeah, that's all I joined. Please scan the QR code. We make really awesome reels. They're all hand-produced, no AI used. So I hope you're going to like them as you follow us.
Thanks for those brief words, Adib. So yeah, and judging and submission. So for all that information, check out the hacker package. It's kind of very extensively details the process of judging and submission, and more details will be released on the day of Sunday. And yeah, that kind of brings us to here. Oh. Wait, do you want to, should I introduce? Okay. Yeah, so hacking will officially begin when we pop this balloon. So if you would like to count down with us, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
So with that said, the hackathon has officially begun. You can start making your GitHub repos. Before you leave, we want to make a group photo. So try to come to the center stage.
We need to settle them out for dinner.
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So come in the middle, and we want to take a photo together. So come, if you're on the left and right, try to fill in the middle rows. All stand up so we can take a photo.
You start announcing sponsors for
Can we have all the sponsors at the front? Can we have all the sponsors and the partners here at front? I repeat, can we have all the sponsors and partners here at front? Thank you.
Okay, so how do we want to do this?
I don't know. You tell. People are also leaving.
Okay, let the hackers go to the second row, third row, and fourth row. That's it. And only the center part of it. All the hackers.
Oh my god. Okay. It's
I think
Okay.
you just shout Alan Chris. No one that was like shout.
Let's do a photo right now.
Yes. Yes, so we want to take a photo right now. I'll request all the hackers to be in row second, third, and fourth in the center part of the auditorium. So it's second, third, and fourth row.
We can just get started and just
Yeah, get in. You get in.
Take the keyboard that
You
way.
settle in. You go in.
Thank you.
Photo.
Sorry. I got it.
Adib kahan hai?
I know. I need everyone in the middle row. That's it.
Adib,
Yeah, I
Adib,
just,
go
if you,
in.
if you
Go
leave
in.
the border of the stairs, I can't see them.
Go in. You go in.
Yeah, just
Go in front. Yes. Adib.
I need the people on the ends to come more in. You have to be inside the rows. I'll just shout. I'm out here. They can go farther back. Alan Craig. They can go as many just in the middle as they can. They don't have to be on the ends. They can go farther. You guys just have to be in the middle section. You guys can like spread out more farther back. Yeah, just if you're on the sides, go up higher and go into the middle section. Those on the stairs, I won't be able to see you. You have to try to get inside.
Don't be on the stairs. Everybody should be.
If you're on the stairs, squeeze farther back inside the rows.
There's so much space in the back. You all can take up that space. You're doing great. This is amazing. Let's take a great picture now.
If you guys want to be in the photo, you have to go in the middle section. Ready? I think this is good. This is enough people. Okay, ready, guys? Guys. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll do one more. Everyone say cheese. Cheese. That should be fine. Thank you. My